Today, I thought I'd cover some of the lesser known settings in Battlefield 2042. These are settings that I don't see people change a lot, but by making a few tweaks, they can really improve your overall performance on the battlefield. The kill log is one of those things that gives you information, well, it's in the name, about the kills and deaths happening within a match. By default it's set to all, but I recommend setting it to squad and nearby, as this gives you local and relevant information to the situation you're in, as you don't really need to know what's going on elsewhere on the map. You know, if you're, say, on point A, you don't need to know what's happening on point D, and vice versa. It helps with your sort of overall situational awareness as well, as you're notified if your team or squad mates have been killed or have been doing any killing in and around you. It also gives you relevant information about the weapon or vehicle, so if you know if there's like any tanks nearby or if there's a helicopter nearby, and kind of what weapons as well they've been killed by. Moving on, we've got the Crosshair. Now you may be thinking, how is the Crosshair going to help me become a better player? It's not the Crosshair overall, it's the colour. Now it's really up to you what colour you pick. However, I would recommend changing it from the default white to a colour you wouldn't normally see. The one that I found works really well is like neon pink, as pink isn't really a colour that you come across in Battlefield 2042. As in some situations, the Crosshair can blend into the map and in turn can cost you gunfights. I've had it happen before on like previous games like Battlefield 4. If anybody's played on Operation Locker outside in the snow, I've lost the white Crosshair in there before, whether that's looking towards the sun in the glint or just in the snow, sort of when I've been moving up that sort of slight hill area in the middle point, and you know, it's cost me gunfights. So I've gone for a neon pink, as you know, you don't really see that on the map, and I've so far haven't lost the Crosshair at all. This setting is actually new to Battlefield 2042. I believe it was added a few updates ago, but please correct me if I'm wrong. And it's damage numbers. What damage numbers essentially are is, you know, like any FPS game, each bullet does a certain amount of damage. You know, obviously it does more to the head than sort of below the neck. But, you know, with this it just gives you that more information. You know, it's just useful as you can sort of know a bit more about how much damage you've done to the enemy. Obviously with hit indicators, it lets you know that you've either hit the enemy below the head or in the head, depending on, you know, what either colour you set it to and what thickness you've set them to. But the damage number just gives you that bit more information, so you know, okay, I've done X amount of damage, you know, even though you can see the health bar. But sometimes you might be shooting through smoke, so the enemy's like name tag isn't visible, but the numbers still pop up next to the Crosshair. So it just gives you a bit more information, so you can kind of judge on how much health the enemy could potentially be on, whether or not to push them or whether or not you need to fall back and heal and whatnot. It's just good to give you more information and help you become a better player. Hud Icon opacity is one I don't hear many people talking about, but it's one that I found got me killed quite a lot in previous Battlefield games. Essentially what it is how sort of transparent each icon is. As you can see on screen, most of them are set to 20%. However, the enemies one I've kept fully maxed out at 100%. As in the past, I've had that also turned down, and when, like, you know, classic Battlefield moments where everything just gets chaotic and enemies are running through a door or something, I've lost enemies that way and then been snuck up and killed on. So by keeping it max, compared to other icons, it sort of highlights them more, so it makes them sort of easy to see. It's just like sort of bold, like font and icon runs past you. It just gives you that bit more information. But friendly and squad I've just toned down, as I'm not really too worried about them, since there's not a hardcore game mode, unless you obviously play Portal, but like the default there's no hardcore, so I'm not too worried about that. And the ping I've also sort of tweaked with, just because, and same for the objective, both of them have been tweaked, as in the past, like whether I've put a ping down or running up to an objective, the actual icon has obscured like the enemy from me, and I've got killed because they've been able to sort of hide behind this like icon. That's both for aiming down sights and just in general, sort of running about. So I've toned them down, and since then I haven't really died from a icon sort of covering an enemy and giving them quote unquote cover. If you found these settings useful, if you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, as well as guides, tips, tricks and everything else in between. Let me know what your thoughts are on these settings. If you have anything else you'd recommend, drop it in the comments below. It really help both myself out, because I feel like I've missed a few things, and anybody else that's looking to improve their overall game knowledge and game sense in Battlefield 2042. But until the next one, have a good one.